Hello, welcome back to our coverage from Lords of the European Open Singles Championships. The semi-final number one has already taken place, and Rob Fay has been victorious. Rob, can you just join us, please, and tell us about your success? Straight sets victory, was it as easy as you thought it was going to be?
No, I don't actually ever think it's going to be easy, but thrilled to have got through, so looking forward to a final.
And you did give several years away to your opponent. He was very, very vigorous, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a terrific athlete, so nice thing about this game is it's quite difficult in some sense, so you can carry on as an old bloke and still be quite good at it.
How do you feel your form has been over the last week in these championships?
I've been playing pretty well, actually. I'm, kind of at a stage of training where I'm pretty happy where I am, so looking forward to the final.
And beyond the final, what are your hopes for the next few months, perhaps the US Open?
Yeah, US Open in a month, so 3 more weeks training before that, and then get over there and hopefully take that title.
Have you been using the Europeans as a stepping stone, perhaps a chance to get up to full speed for the US?
No, I mean this is a great event in its own right. So I lost in the final of this last year, so I was keen to make amends, and so thrilled to be in the final tomorrow night and hopefully go on and win it. Any
idea of who you'd prefer to play in tomorrow's final?
I do have a favourite for tomorrow night, but I'm not going to say who that is.
Many thanks for joining us and many congratulations on your victory.
Cheers, thank you very much.
So, semi-final 2 about to get underway. Join us for that here from Lords on realtennis.tv shortly. Welcome back to the Foyer Lords Real Tennis Club. We're here for the European Open Championships. And the second semi-final about to get underway. Bryn Sayers is just waiting to go on court. Bryn, can you join us in the commentary position or the interview position? Come and take a... Hi. So you've seen semi-final number 1. What did you think?
Pretty impressive, isn't he, Rob?
Yeah.
He knows when to step it up a gear when the chips are down, that's for sure.
Do you fancy playing him tomorrow?
I've played him a few times before and come close, so I always rise to the occasion. But I've still got to get through today yet, so...
How would you say your form is at the present time?
I think I'm playing well. I like the court here. It suits my game, I think. But Tim's going to be a tricky opponent, that's for sure.
Have you had much experience playing here at Lords?
I played here last year, the last few years in the European. So I've been going well on this court, so I'd like to continue that this year.
And a busy time for you personally.
It
a
is,
new job and
yeah.
You're getting married as well?
Yeah, getting married in July, so that's still on the back burner at the moment.
And a new job at Queen's?
New job at Queen's as well, that's busy as ever there. Just had a big busy weekend with all the members there.
And just a final question as you go into the semi-final against Tim. Let me into a little secret. What are your tactics?
I think it's going to be a game dominated on serve and return, especially Tim's return. He's very, very effective with that, so I've got to serve well against him.
Bryn, I wish you all the very best for the second semi-final. I'd like to call Tim into our interview position. Tim, you can join us, please. So Tim very shortly will join us here and he'll be on court very shortly indeed. Tim, come and take a stand next to me. Okay. So did you watch the first semi-final?
No, Jamie's in New York, so I've had an opportunity to hit with Jamie quite a bit, and I've played Rob once or twice over the years. So.
Now, you more or less gave up real tennis back in 2006.
I don't know if I gave it up. I just ended up moving to a part of the country that didn't have it. I moved to Boston and went to work behind a desk, which didn't lend itself to training too much. But I got to play a little bit in Boston as Camden was coming on, so he practiced partner with him a little, and then moved to Wisconsin, which there's no court tennis in Wisconsin. So.
But it was always your intention to return to the sport?
No, not at all. The Tuxedo Club in New York rang me about a year ago and asked if I'd be interested in coming back into real tennis and racket sports in general. So it was, they convinced my wife that it was a good idea, and I'm happy to be back.
And how is the Tuxedo Club?
It's great. Wonderful membership. It's a good place for my family, and I'm enjoying it.
And has it reignited your love of real tennis?
It's we're probably the most unique club in the world in the fact that we've got 5 racket sports. So I'm fortunate that real tennis is one of them. And the club is supportive of my playing a little bit at this point, so it's which was really good.
And where's your love of the racket sport? Does it belong in real tennis?
If I had to rank the 5, I would say so. I grew up playing lawn tennis,
right.
So that was the attraction of Tuxedo. I know a lot of the members prior. Wonderful group of people. My family is a good fit, great place for me to raise my children, and they've got a real tennis court. So that was, at the end of the day, it's a unique club, and I'm happy to be there.
And just a little bit about your semi-final against Bryn. Any thoughts about that? Any special tactics?
No, you get to my age, you just hope you hit the ball in the strings. So yeah, it's seeing whether I can play these youngsters. I've played. Most of the people I've played so far are closer in age to my oldest daughter than they are to me. So I'm looking forward to it. I've known Bryn a long time. I played him, an exhibition with him in Seacourt maybe 10 years ago, and it's good to see him. He's playing fantastic. Obviously had some really good results, so I think he'll probably look to run the old guy around a little bit. So.
Well, Tim, I won't detain you any longer. I'll let you go on to court for your
thank you.
warm-up. So the second semi-final about to get underway, and you'll see it here on realtennis.tv.
Lovely to see a future British champion. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed.
So we're about to start. We were informed in the last match you guys couldn't hear the score too well, so we're going to try and help out a little bit and let you know what's been going on with the actual points in this match. Here we go.
Whoa.
15 love.
Ben can't quite see that side that I can see there, but that really came down. That just caught the nick, and that didn't really raise very high, so it didn't really give Bryn a lot of chance there.
Nearly a yard worse than the last gallery.
Some interesting serves coming out from Tim here. He's been doing sidewall, underarm twist. Just seems to be knocking the ball up there just to get the rally going, like we talked about before.
Worse than the door. Change service.
I mean, again, that's going to depend a little bit on what Bryn, shows us with his return. I mean, again, if he was playing Robert, I don't think you'd be seeing necessarily Tim serve those type serves. Maybe he feels with Bryn he's got a little bit more time. I don't know. We'll see. But if he, if he doesn't up that serve, then Bryn's more than good enough on that volley to step in. Bryn's got a good volley.
15 love. Receiver leads. First chase is nearly a yard worse than the last gallery.
So who did Bryn play in the quarterfinals then?
Bryn played Tom Durack from Petworth House. It's a great return.
And obviously that was a 3 sets to love, that one.
It was 3 love. I think Tom put up a very spirited performance, though. Certainly in the second set to 4, but yeah, I mean, Bryn's got a little bit in hand, so I think he was relatively comfortable.
What
I'm looking forward to see here, Ben, with Tim, is that I kind of feel that as each match has gone on, he's got better and better on this court. He's become more and more confident, and we're just, even now, I'm starting to see a little bit of the old Tim that I remember from 7, 8 years ago. That I didn't really see in certainly the first match. That's good pace.
40-15. Of course,
40-15.
Tim's one of these players who can hit that ball pretty hard on his forehand if he wants to.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, he's not the biggest guy, but wow, can he strike a ball? I mean, that's just timing. Fantastic timing.
One shot I've always liked of Tim's is his backhand volley.
Yeah.
It's particularly, we talked earlier about how the backhand volley.
Look at that. Just what you were talking about, Ben.
Backhand volley. We talked about how backhand volley is an incredibly important shot in lawn tennis, and it's a weakness for a lot of people. Well, in this game, you've got a much heavier racket, much heavier ball, and getting your racket up and controlling the ball up there is difficult, but Tim just seems to have no problem with that shot.
Half a yard.
And interestingly, he holds it very differently to the way Rob does. Rob has a relatively open face, at least, and kind of comes around the outside, whereas Tim treats it very flat and just blats it.
I mean, Tim was a pretty, well, similar to Rob, but Tim was a pretty good lawn tennis player, so I guess, that comes from his lawn tennis days. I mean, I remember going back a few years that when Tim kind of came from the lawn tennis and was playing at the New York Tennis and Racket Club, and was kind of, again, a little bit like James earlier today, relatively new to it. But boy, could you see some talent there. I mean, very early on, you know, he hadn't played that much and he was already very, very good.
Actually, yeah, Tim's one of almost an unusual case of how quickly he got good, because when he arrived on the scene and 2 years later he was knocking at the door, wasn't
That's
he?
right, he was.
15 love, receiver leads. Better than half a yard.
Better than half a yard chase to beat here.
He's going to look for the force.
Lost the chase. 15 all. Hazard, better than the first gallery.
And what's Bryn going to serve on a hazard chase? The railroad.
$30-15.
Obviously, Tim overhit that return. That's the one he'd have been looking to obviously put straight onto the floor and cancel out the chase. Oh, that's a fantastic volley main wall force. Wow.
Very, very hard to defend the volley main wall, because you're covering so many different options, and you don't really expect someone to be able to generate the pace and accuracy to hit that in off the volley. So it's a very effective shot if you can do it. There's I knew one person. Remember Mark Devine playing? It was Mark Devine's kind of one big shot. He just used to rattle that in there, to the extent that, weirdly, a number of players actually would rather he was the service side than receiver side when they're playing against him, which is incredibly rare in this game.
We were discussing earlier about practice and the time these boys put in. Well, you know, I was going to say then that Mark Devine, for me, was one of those that one summer went out to New York when Wayne was head pro there, and basically Wayne said to Mark, "This is what you're going to do, young man. I want you to get out on that court all summer and just hit main wall dead-ons." And he came back to the UK, and I never got close to him again. I mean, he was just so incredibly accurate. Incredibly accurate.
Worse than the second gallery.
He's looking very relaxed, Tim, here, Ben.
Well, he has a way about him, doesn't he? He never really ever looks like he's expending too much energy on court. He's kind of got this shrug it off kind of swagger. Demeanour. Yeah. And even the shots he hits hard tend to just kind of suddenly explode from somewhere. Whereas, you know, Rob, when he hits a hard shot, it's not exactly effortless. But it makes it look very physical.
Yes.
Tim just seems to kind of do it, and then he's just kind of strolling off after he's hit it. It's a little unusual, in fact.
He just seems to generate so much pace from what seems very, very little. But he certainly does sting that ball. So it's 2-love first set here to Tim.
30 love.
Yeah, that's a good volley. As you said, Bryn's able to do that. He's got at least one.
He's got a good volley. He's got a good volley, Bryn. It's a good serve.
15-13.
I was asking Bryn earlier if he's been plagued with any injuries or anything recently, and he says no, he's been pretty good. I once watched him cramp up in a match in Newport about 5 years or so ago, but he says he hasn't had any trouble with that since.
$40-15.
I suppose, you know, these guys, they're professional sportsmen. They look at those problems and work out what they can do. Maybe, you know, whether it's something they can drink.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure they're all drinking the right electrolytes and stuff to keep themselves in the game. So
there's plenty of stuff out there these days.
Pretty fast, Bryn, as well, isn't he, when he needs to?
Yeah, he's very fast. Yeah, his court coverage I think is beautiful. It's superb. As I said, he's a very, very tidy player.
I think something else he started to do, which I've noticed just more particularly in that last shot, he holds the ball a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Makes you guess. He used to kind of take the ball a little bit earlier than that. I think it might be something to do with when you learn at C court. For those of you who don't know, C court's a court where the ball stays incredibly low and you're forced to kind of take the ball very, very early. You start going and play at other courts, you realise you've got a little bit more time off the back wall, you can start holding it, disguising shot a bit more, and that last shot of Bryn's, I didn't know where he's going to hit it until he did.
And I mean, at the end of the day, Ben, we're obviously a good few yards further back than Tim is. So if we can see it and it looks difficult, it's even harder for him, who's obviously a good few feet in front of where we're sitting.
Server leads. Chase is 1 and 2.
So 40-30 Bryn, he'll be looking to take this point, needs to get this game. That's too good.
It was a very loose serve for a
Yeah.
Chase 1 and 2. You mustn't serve onto the back wall like that.
That gave Tim too much time, and
Receiver's advantage.
he's certainly attacking the ball, Ben, a lot more than he did the first couple of days.
Well, the thing is, I haven't seen Tim for a number of years, and this to me is Tim.
Yeah.
Smacking. If he gets a loose forehand in the air, he's just going to crack it.
I mean, he could well have been playing himself into this a little bit. I mean, as I said before, this event, I mean, for Tim got into the UK on Friday night, and he had practice Saturday, first match against Conor Medlow on the Sunday, and then Ben yesterday. So it's a tough schedule. Tim's 41, incredibly fit, but it's a tough schedule, this tournament. So maybe he's just kind of thought, okay, I'm going to do this a little bit like a marathon, and do it over the long distance and not a sprint.
Server's advantage. Chase
It's worth actually talking about that point, in that the players wouldn't really have it any other way. You've got to remember that most of the professionals in this game are actually club managers, and they've got a certain amount of time they can take away from the sport. They spend a lot of time training. If they had, like Wimbledon, a match, then a day's break, they could only play like a couple of tournaments a year. They could only, it's kind of moulded around them so that they can actually play in these tournaments and still, but it is absolutely grueling. So a lot of the training that goes into it is keeping your body alive for that kind of period of time.
I think also, I mean, following on from that, for those people that are watching this that haven't played the game, I mean, you've also got to consider that these guys don't get what is it, lawn tennis players get a minute and a half every couple of games to sit out?
Yeah, although Tim takes his time changing it, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's probably a little bit of a good tactic where he's at now, and gives him that bit of time to just get his breath back, recover. But it's a very, very physically demanding game. People often say to me about this, and how does it rate with games like squash and stuff? Well, yes, of course, squash is over a shorter period of time extremely physical and demanding, but this is the game that's over the years hurt me the most. I remember one time I was in New York and playing Neil Smith, and 4 hours later I finally managed just to win, and
You find squash hurts the lungs, whereas this hurts the body.
Yeah, absolutely.
30 love.
It's interesting. Bryn's actually going for a lot more aggressive shots from receiver side than I'm used to seeing. He's gone for a number of, he tried a half volley force. Actually, he almost succeeded in half volley force in the last rally, and then hit another force, and he was going for something there. So it's good that he's looking to actually do more with the ball from the receiver side now.
Yeah, it's good to see that in his game. I mean, I said as they, as they came onto court, he does look as though he's bulked up a little bit, Ben. So maybe this is something he's obviously now at Queen's Club under, the leadership of Andy Lyons, and maybe he's getting into that gym at Queen's, and he's just adding this another dimension to his game, which, as I said, I mean, for me, could take him to that top level.
He'll be upset with his 2 forced errors this game, though, won't he? 3 love, 40 love down. You don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, it's this is a great start for Tim. He'll be again. I would have thought similar to Rob earlier. I mean, Tim will not be looking to stay on this court any longer than it takes. 3 love, 40 love first set. He's going to be very happy.
$40 love. Receiver leads. Chase worse than the second gallery. Game.
Just that ball seems to come through from Tim a little bit faster. That's 4 love now.
he's looking very comfortable at the moment. As you say, this is very much the old Tim Chisholm I remember. Oh, look at that. Kept his eye on that beautifully. It's a good shot.
I find it weird that Bryn didn't volley that off the penthouse. I mean, surely you take any ball you can take in the air, you just try and crush down into town, but he let it bounce and stuff. And sure enough, Tim gets back in the point.
Gives him that kind of second chance, doesn't it? Is it again that slightly early game, slight nerves? But Tim certainly isn't showing it. I mean, definitely.
It's a fantastic get from Bryn there.
Was a great get. Oh, Tim.
30 love.
It looked like his back might have stopped him there. Is there anything wrong with Tim's back?
Not sure. No, I'm not too sure of the back. I mean, I spoke with Tim earlier today, and I kind of said, how's the body holding up? And he kind of just said, well, it's feeling old, but.
See, it's interesting. Tim's really hitting out here, and yeah, he might be missing a fair amount high, but you kind of get the feeling that if he does that for a few games, he's going to start hitting the target.
Yeah. I think you're spot on, because that is not what I saw so much of Tim in the first couple of days, and I'm seeing it here tonight, whereby he is certainly all out attack, and. This is certainly a different Tim Chisholm than as I said, I saw the first couple of days. Very much more like the guy I remember in some of those titanic battles with Robert.
In a funny kind of way, I sometimes feel like the world's trying to conspire against Rob Fade, because everyone kind of decided a few years ago not to give Rob any forehand volleys. Everyone decided that you got to play him on the floor, you got to try and make him work, you got to try and make him knackered, and that might not work in any given match. But it could work over the place of a tournament. So the third person to take that tactic might actually get somewhere. But
absolutely.
So far, Rob's held out.
Well, that's
1 game to 4.
All right, on the scoreboard.
Yeah, he's on the scoreboard. 1-4. He needs this game as well, though, really, to for my liking, to have any chance in this first set. 4-1 up.
15 love.
Tim's still commanding, but as I said, if Bryn can just hang in here, maybe drag this set out a little bit. Maybe that's what he should. That's a great volley return.
Fantastic. It's quite a tight serve as well. He did very well to hit that.
Again, another player choosing that high serve, Ben. There's obviously something out there that they think it's working.
Bryn is actually having some success into Tim's forehand low there. And you've got to think, you're playing against a 41-year-old. Maybe you do want to be going for the corners, just getting nice cut shots and mixing it up like that.
Yeah, I think you're quite right. I mean, I think it's only, it's only human nature that even at 41 in incredible condition, the body has to slow down a little bit. And that shot that you've talked about, pushing Tim as wide as that, it's got to hurt, and you're just not going to get there like you did 15 years ago. It's a great shot.
I just love that backhand volley. It's just fantastic.
Beautiful.
And he seriously cut it as well.
I was going to say, I mean, from how low the ball was to actually cut on that and bring that ball down from a volley there.
Lost it. 15-13.
Oh, that's a great pick-up. Oh, I say. Wonderful, wonderful get by Tim. Again, that
14,
backhand.
15.
Beautiful. Right under the timbre there. That's the volley. That's that backhand.
Second gallery,
So clean.
It's also, I mean, it's just great shot selection. This is something that it's actually a little bit hard to appreciate at this level, but you've got to know which balls to hit. You've got to know which balls to be defensive with, and you've also got to know which balls, if you don't hit well, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. And Tim purposely put that backhand volley straight in the galleries. It wasn't like he knew he couldn't do enough with that ball to actually carve it into a corner. So he said, right, now's the time for that gallery. I'm no longer controlling this rally like I want to get a chase.
It's a good choice. I mean, it's so easy that type of ball for the lesser player, Ben, to just try and have a crack at it and hit a straight force, which, as you say, really is probably not the option. It's a great backhand by Tim again.
Yep.
Is that 5-1?
5 games to 1.
5-1.
I'd be seriously thinking about completely avoiding his backhand at this point in time. At least in the air. Of course, on the floor is a different matter.
Yeah. It's a fantastic game.
That's a good rest. In fact, some of the nicest tennis to watch, well, I don't mean nicest tennis, most exciting tennis to watch, is when you got someone like Tim trying to hit winners and missing. What always leads to, from that point, is someone then puts the ball away, but because there's some great retrieving going on, you then get a rally formed. Someone hits high, someone gets it back, and then whereas when you see people like Rob just slossing it in all day.
Second gallery, change service.
It'll be interesting to see how Bryn plays this, because obviously at Queen's, I think Tim took the first set and had a lead in the second, but then the legs, I think, tired, Tim said, when I spoke to him a week or so after that match. And interesting what's going through Tim's mind here. As I said, we don't really know, obviously, how much he's trained in those 4 or 5 months. Bryn might be thinking, if I can just hang in there with him, that he might tire. So,
I mean, certainly smelling Tim on his way past, he's completely covered in Vicks or Bengay or whatever.
Yes.
It's quite intoxicating, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So he's obviously having to tend to himself.
2 more, please.
I think the good thing about Bryn, though, I mean, he's got a very good temperament. He just doesn't panic. He's very, he's just not flustered. So again, the great thing about Bryn is that
Lost
you
the chase,
can't
15,
really
30.
tell what he's thinking.
Second gallery.
To me, again, I think that is a sign of a very, very good player. That even here, when it's not going particularly great for him, that's a good shot. He's not looking, looking worried. He's not panicking. So
Also, not much reaction when he hits a great shot either.
no.
Great get there.
Second gallery, 30 all.
So there it is again from Tim. He goes for a good cut shot. Bryn gets it back. He gets another ball. He's not quite as much control of it, so he goes right gallery. Thank you.
Second gallery.
He's getting hold of this ball tonight, Chisholm. That was a fabulous volley return and a fantastic forehand get down in this right-hand corner here by Bryn, I have to say. But it's 5-1, 5-1 Tim, 30 all. I can't see Tim letting this one slip. I mean, again, when you look at players of this quality, this level, that's why they're so good, because mentally they're so strong. And players like Tim, he's not going to let a 5-1 lead slip. I've probably said that now, and I've put a curse on the match for him, but we'll see.
First chase is second gallery.
That's unlucky, just off the bando there. Probably enough, just enough.
You often feel like the problem with the tactic where you're trying to make the older person
Server
run
leads 40,
is you end up
worse than
cutting and pushing a ball which you probably should have already won the point on. And it turns out there aren't that many times in a rally where you can say, I'm going to choose this shot to make them move instead of hitting the right shot, and it's still the right shot. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
So it's a difficult line to walk.
I think you're right, because I mean, you know, if you take something like squash, I mean, you can just run a guy ragged, and you know, if you've got two good players, but you know, there is an age gap. The younger guy generally is going to come through, whereas this game, because of exactly what you just said, it's much harder to punish the guy. I mean, as you say here, I mean, Tim's not really been
beautiful width there, beautiful width.
Juice.
But he's, you know, if you look at Tim at the moment, he's not being over pushed really. That's a good shot. What a get! What a get! Oh, I say.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
We talk about forcing from the hazards in the last match, but actually, it's whichever way you land on that particular question. Hitting a main wall force is obviously completely acceptable, but arguably almost undefendable. I mean, trying to defend a main wall that's been hit from hazard 2, you've got to have lightning reactions for that. Whereas a straight one, you might still get your racket on.
Second gallery, Juice.
It's interesting also with that volley that Bryn played, is that, you know, he in many respects there he was not in a great position. He did have to attack that, and as you say, yes, he didn't play the straight force, which we've talked of earlier. But had he not have laced that,
he could have been in big trouble. Yeah. As we kind of saw with Rob earlier, actually.
Yes. So Bryn has saved a set point already.
Not sure Bryn's broken a sweat yet, actually.
No. As I said, he's got that, you know, big player mentality. He's calm.
Strokes of Juice. First chase is second gallery. Full.
I think that's another side of Bryn's game. Actually, you're right. I mean, I think when he's under pressure, it is a brilliance to be so calm. But I think also he could, you know, slightly, you know, let himself go a little bit when he's up.
It's a very steady force there.
Yeah.
Receiver's advantage.
But maybe that's
Last
his style of play.
gallery.
That's maybe the way it works for him. So it's a great return. Oh, what a pickup! That's a wonderful get. That's amazing.
It's not what Bryn was going for, but getting that ball back was just something else.
What a fantastic get.
That's probably one of the best volley returner serves I've seen today as well.
Fantastic volley returner serve, and that again was set point saved by Bryn. He's just struggling a bit with that pace, isn't he?
Receiver's advantage.
This is one of the things that I'm just in the last 20 minutes I'm quite admiring about Tim's game. Is he sees a ball and he immediately works out, that's one I can attack, that's one that I've got to kind of defend, and that's one I'm going to, you know, hit a gallery. And he seems to be making the right choice, you know, all the time.
Yeah,
now,
good shot
it might seem a little bit obvious from us sitting back
The
here,
first set.
but in the heat of battle, that's a lot tougher. And that's the first set to Tim.
6-1.
Second set.
He'll be pleased with that.
Double.
It's a good start.
He's just holding the racket up there because there are people moving.
Out of court, 15 love.
Well, we've just shimmied over a couple of seats so I can see what's going on there. That's nice.
No. Worse than 2.
Again, as you were just saying there, Ben, a nice display of Tim's shot selection. He's been pacing the ball around and plays a beautiful cut shot there. And then suddenly that.
Yeah.
15 all.
For all his cutting of the ball, if you give Tim a volley in the air like that, he's either going to hit it hard or he's going to hit it hard, you know. So
he's just he's not afraid to hit the ball. I mean, I remember marking one time in Philadelphia for
30,
Tim,
15.
He was playing Julian Snow, and again, it was kind of when he'd kind of come back from a bit of a break from the game, and he was on the way up again, and it was a second serve Julian was about to play, and it was going to fall short. It was going to be a fault. You know, most of us would like leave the ball and go, "Way, double fault, I'll take the point." This guy's just gone up to it, gone up to the red line, and just absolutely laced it to the top corner, right hand corner of the dead on. I mean, I looked at that shot then and just thought, wow, this guy has got some, you know. And that actually was the start then of his rise. But to me, again, just a brilliant ability to just not be scared. And that's what we're seeing here tonight. There's no shadow of a doubt.
Receiver lead.
I remember my dad first teaching me that. He rolled the ball up on the penthouse. It landed in the hazard chases. And he said, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, that'd be a fault." He said, "No, that's a smash."
Chase off.
It's the most reaction you ever get out of Bryn there.
Game.
That's a good shot.
First game, second set.
There's a certain ease about Bryn's forces, actually. Doesn't actually look like he's putting a huge amount of effort in, which means he must be timing it right.
One fault.
Yeah, I mean, again, the biggest guy. He's not 6 foot plus, so he's obviously got great timing, great hands, and you're so right. I mean, he puts it in there with a relative ease.
Better than the door.
You know, Tim does that from time to time. He kind of leaves the ball because he's in the wrong position. He could easily just kind of skip around and smack. I've seen him do that a few times now. Not today, but just it's interesting he chose to leave that one.
Yeah, I mean.
Out of court. 15 love.
As you say, I mean, there's no reason he can't actually play that ball, so it's a good volley.
30 love.
I said earlier about that volley. Bryn he's got a good volley these days. Yeah. Takes it nice and early. Comes down on the ball. That's a good get, Bryn.
Chase, 2-3.
It's funny, actually. Tim sometimes kind of jogs around the court, giving this sense of an old man. He's kind of like, he kind of has this face that makes him look like it's all just too much work and stuff like that. But he gets there. So 1 love, 30 love up. A bit of a change around here from Bryn. Certainly looking to dominate in this set so far.
Yes, he has, hasn't he? I mean, he's just stepped it up a gear. Obviously, after that first set, I mean, he did need to, but
30 love.
this is a little bit better from Bryn.
First chase, better than the door.
I wouldn't normally expect Bryn to miss that shot.
No.
2 and 3.
He won't have been pleased with that. Too much.
Lost a chase.
Going for that cut
40,
volley, the
15.
forehand corner to beat 2 and 3, but took it a bit late and the ball rose. It's better.
Do you know that match you talked about earlier? That's 2 love to Bryn.
2 games to love.
That match you talked about earlier, the World Championship final, in that last day when Rob was leading 6-2, and then went 6-all, and then Tim went 7-6. The thing that really made the difference is Tim was volleying return of serve fantastically well for those first 4 sets, and it got to the 5th set, and credit to Rob, he really wanted it, and but Tim's volley return of serve just got tired. He started overhitting it, hitting sidewall, back wall, and Rob's just slotting away in the grill. And the last set was just, just over in a flash, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think if my memory serves me right, it was a 6-2 set.
Yeah.
And it was pretty quick.
15 all.
Again, typical of the great man. I mean, World Championship point, he just stung a ball straight into the grill. But I think you're right. I mean, I think probably at that stage,
30,
I think also it was probably a combination that from 6-2 down, suddenly Tim was at 6-all and thinking, I can win this. And I think combination of maybe a little bit of tiredness, maybe a little bit of, you know, suddenly that bit of extra pressure. I have to say, from my side, marking it,
Last gallery.
it was, for me, a great bit of sporting history. I mean, I just thought, you know, given Rob had lost 4 sets, and to be fair, relatively easily. I mean, it was all 2s and 3s. To turn that around was just testament again of what Robert Fay's all about for me. And as I was marking it, I was sure, you know, no disrespect for Tim, who I like immensely, but I was glad it was 6-2 and not 5-all. Oh.
Yeah, no one wants to be the marker at 5-all. A couple of dodgy bounces, and you're like, oh god, was that up?
Absolutely. I have to say though, you know, marking for them again, both of them, just such tremendous gents on the court. I mean,
first chase is
do you also find it's great fun marking? Because I find it's the best seat in the house.
I loved it. I loved it. It was absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's a bit of a joke within the Real Tennis fraternity that I just step on court and I tend to start perspiring. But, even when I was marking that, it was such a buzz that it was hard work, but it was the best seat in the house. So that's 2-love here.
Lost a chase.
Do you know, not
40,
only,
30.
as far as I can remember, not only have I not seen Tim miss a backhand volley yet, but he's also making some great calls with them. That last shot there, he left. You know, that was lip of the dead on. He just sees that backhand volley so early.
Juice.
I mean, it's quite amazing, isn't it? You know, we talk about marking and stuff, and you talk about seeing the ball so early. It's also amazing that, you know, when you do mark these guys, how late sometimes you have to make a call because you just think the ball's going down, and suddenly the rackets come underneath it, and you think, how did they get that back?
We saw one from Tim that rally actually. That return of serve really cut down, and Tim managed to get his racket underneath it.
That's a great gap.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Game.
Yeah. 1-2.
1 game to 2.
He probably needed that. Bryn had just kind of up the ante, and but good game that for Tim. That's a great get from Bryn. That's lovely. Oh, well back. It's got to go there.
I don't think you could look more casual about that grill.
He kind of looked a little bit there at the dead on as if to say, I don't want this rally going on too much as well. Fantastic gets there by Bryn.
Yeah, it just goes to show how fast this timbre is. You know, he just flew off onto his half volley.
Yeah. That's a great volley.
Chase, better than 3. Fine.
He's brought that certainly into his game more, you know, in more recent years. He's very, very good now at that. I'm a big fan of that, you know, that volley return serve. I just think it puts the opponent under such a lot of pressure. I think it's got to be a tactic here that Bryn's got to be considering, because, you know, if he can, as we said earlier, drag Tim over to that right-hand side time and time again, it's hard work on the body.
It also makes that last shot he just hit so effective. He's just hit a couple of shots into Tim's forehand. He's kind of been squeezing him right up against the wall. And then you hit a shot that looks like it's going for the forehand, but it actually turns out to be a boast. Tim's already slightly moving, just, half a step to the right. Makes it a lot harder for him to actually reach that ball, which is landing it around, I don't know, where was it, 5-6 in the backhand corner. So it means you can kind of force a chase by continuing to do that on one side. And it's the right thing to do against him. It's funny because classically, when you first taught to play this game, I don't know if you remember Steve, for example, he probably told you to hit every single returner serve down the line, the backhand corner. And don't get me wrong, that's a very way to start learning. It's a very important shot, but you've got to know your opponent. You've got to know what things hurt your opponent.
That's a great force.
30-15, 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's great play. Great play, working the corners.
40-15.
One thing I have noticed about Bryn is that he's actually not, not including that last shot, that was pretty ungettable. But
3 on the spin bend.
I was just going to say, I don't think Bryn's been defending the dead on as well as he might normally. Normally gets the rack on. He's missed a couple that have been right there in front of him.
Yeah. Mind you, that's pretty tough.
I just reckon he's not used to the pace.
The pace is impressive. But if you looked at those 3 forces, Ben, the first one was, as we look, top left-hand corner. Second one, top right-hand corner. And the third one down the middle. So, it's not easy to defend.
It's funny, I was talking with Bryn about who he's been practicing with, and he says that he's been playing with Jed Parsons and Andy Lyons and stuff because they're the 2 fellow professionals at Queen's. And it's great, they're hitting in balls and they're doing a real good job. But the one thing missing from that, we all love watching Andy Lyons play, but let's face it, he doesn't hit it. He's and Jed Parsons, doesn't crack the ball. Suddenly you face like a Tim or a Rob, and that ball's a couple of metres further back than it should have been.
It's tough. I don't. You don't want to talk about your own day, but when I look at the amount of players around 15 years ago, there was certainly more people to hit with that could test you. For me, obviously, I wasn't up the top, but I could go to Chris Bray, Mike Goodin, Frank Filippelli, all these wonderful, Julian Snow, all these great players, and get the practice. If you look around at the moment, though, it's a little. They're obviously spread a little bit around the world. You look at someone like Vagona in Philadelphia. But what worries me there is has he actually got the firepower and the practice to take his game even further forward? And it's a little bit like you're saying here. Obviously, yes. Someone like Andy Lyons, who has been top player, but not a big hitter, suddenly comes on court here with Tim, and it's a different ball game.
2 games all 30 love to Bryn. So Tim's managed to work his way back into this set, and he's getting the service side.
40 love, receiver leads. Hazard side, first gallery.
Not really sure that Tim's been any less effective from the receiver's side. He seems to be hitting very aggressive stuff from the far side. God, I don't know what that was going for. That's well played from Bryn. Sometimes even if your opponent's standing in front of the galleries, it's right to hit just straight through them.
That's a nice shot.
15 love.
Probably not the best serve from Tim. Gave Bryn room there.
Second gallery. 15 love.
See, people don't tend to serve that kind of side wall serve because it hasn't happened so much recently. The whole idea is if you send it that far out into the court, if somebody does feel like hitting the gallery is the right thing to do, it's just easy.
Yeah.
And, Tim's got this very relaxed state of play as it is anyway. But when he picked up that ball to serve, he'd hardly finished turning around before he just kind of knocked it up there. Sure enough, the ball ends up in the middle of the court and Bryn goes, all right, I'll hit a gallery, thanks. Maybe Tim wants to be the far side. That'll be unusual. But you thought a bit more, you don't really want to be giving the person that option in case it is what they want to do.
I think that's right. Again, if you look at Rob earlier, he just doesn't seem to
15
give people,
love,
he just doesn't give
serve
people
leads.
that room.
First chase's second gallery.
Yeah, he was serving the two main serves we saw Rob serving was a railroad, which obviously stays near the wall. Great shot there.
Yeah, it was a great shot.
And the high serve, which,
Better
okay,
than
comes out a
two.
little bit, but was so close to the back wall, it's hard to kind of prize out. That was a nice cut shot.
30-15.
Again, showing, you know, what you said earlier about his variety, his shot selection. Great shot selection. Bryn was probably looking for a big hit again, and suddenly just puts the ball cross court. Probably more cut on it than
30-15.
we could see from here, so maybe not as easy as we thought, but
Better than the second gallery.
It's interesting for all the kind of lackadaisical movement that Tim seems to have. His feet suddenly, you know, all top players have to have this, but his feet suddenly just shuffle like crazy and twitch. He's got so
40,
tiny little foot
15.
movements just before he hits the ball, that little extra correction. To be honest, I hadn't really noticed it until the last couple of points, but I was looking at his feet there and I just thought, wow, it's really did.
so 3-2 Bryn, 30-15 Tim.
At this point, you kind of
40-15.
you fancying Tim?
Chase. Second gallery.
I think the next 2 or 3 games are going to be really crucial. I think if Tim can see out this set, I can see him going on to win the match personally. If Bryn can take this set, well,
Court. Game. 3-all. Chase, half a yard
Yeah,
worse
3
than
games all
6.
now, and that quite an effective shot, even at the high level, that one.
Yeah.
As we said before, you start moving the wrong way, it ends up right in front of you again.
yeah.
Not always easy to pull off a second time in a row, though. That's probably why Tim got to that one.
15 long. Love. 15-30.
Well, I've just been informed by Freddie that we've got some 300 viewers at the moment, so that's fantastic. I was hoping for 3,000, but there you go. It's a start. So 3-all, 30-all. That big 7th game that we always talk about. That all-important 7th.
He's going to change his shirt.
I think if Bryn wasn't to win this set, you know, he's young enough and fit enough to go the distance, so it's not going to be completely over. I just kind of feel that it's going to give you know, Tim again that lift, that kind of finishing line, that being the player that he still is and certainly has been, they just know how to finish these matches. Again, when I was speaking with him a little bit earlier, he kind of said that, you know,
30 all.
playing Ben yesterday, having been out for some time, it's
First
amazing
chase,
how you do kind
half
of
a yard.
forget
Worse
things
than
such as,
6.
you know, being able to finish and get over that line, but he said it soon came back, so we're obviously seeing that here today. That's a great backhand.
40-30.
40-30.
Better than the second
Wonderful
gallery.
backhand Ben was talking earlier about. Tim's backhand, and he's just good at, whether it be the volley, the block, that cut. Ooh, bit loose there by Bryn.
4 games to 3.
And I'm delighted to say my commentary partner here is back here, my leading man, because I was feeling a bit nervous there for 2 minutes, left completely on my own.
It's the problem with drinking too many fluids.
15 love. Chase
Wow.
worse than 5.
That was hard. Again, you can't give him a loose ball like that.
$15 all.
Wow, the ace.
Yeah. Don't see that many of them, not at this level. Tim smiles. Oh yeah.
That's a good finish.
30-15.
Tim will feel a bit cheated there because it was an excellent return of serve, but just popped up for him.
Just caught that underside, didn't it, of the bando, and gave Bryn the opportunity.
For the all.
Again, I just feel like if Bryn was just ready for those hard hits, if he just got his racket on a few more of those, then suddenly Tim's thinking, I'm not just going to get away with just smashing everything really hard. But so far, Bryn hasn't really said, no, you can't do that. If I get there, I'm going to do something with it. So,
yeah, he's getting caught a little bit there, isn't he?
I'm kind of feeling that if I was Bryn and I didn't win this match, I'd want to go away and I'd want to have someone just fire buckets at me, like a ball machine, and just kind of try and get my fast ball reactions ready for that stuff.
I think that's right. I mean, if you look at the rest of his game, as I've said, I mean, super tidy player, but he's struggling a little bit with the pace here, and I don't think it's going to change, Ben. I mean, you look at Robert Fay, you look at Tim here. I mean, that's their game, and he's got to be able to cope with this. So, maybe he does need to, get one of the guys at Queen's just literally to tee balls at him, so he is more accustomed to this pace when these matches come around.
It's important for the viewers to realise I'm not advocating smashing the ball around all over the place. You look at quality players like Rob and Tim and so forth, and they're smacking the ball, but they're also brilliant cutters, brilliant cut volley returner serves. They serve well, they've got fantastic volleys. It's just, you have to be able to deal with that pace of ball as well.
Yeah.
And if there's 2 people in the history of this game who've picked out the fast ball really well, which I suppose Camden's pretty good at seeing the ball, isn't he, as well? But, yeah.
Get by Tim. Got to go again. Yeah, good shot, Bryn. Good shot.
One thing Bryn's really been managing well today is getting the ball to reach Tim at the point Tim reaches the wall. He's been keeping it nice and tight, the actual width, I think, on his cut shots. And that's where he's been stealing some points off Tim.
4 games all.
That's 4 games all. Good game that by Bryn. Did well there.
15 love.
Yeah,
15
nice
all.
shot. Nice shot by Tim. Beautiful pace onto the timbre. Didn't really give Bryn a lot of chance coming off at that angle.
That's the problem when you miss the main wall force and it comes low.
Yeah.
These guys are too good to not deal with that. Again, I mean, an interesting choice, the cut shot. Forehand's perfectly a good thing to do, but Bryn's just getting that width absolutely perfect to be just the right distance away from Tim.
And again,
lovely.
Wow.
Worse than the yard.
That volley we've talked about. Beautiful volley, Bryn.
I
think that's 2 good chases for Bryn. 15 all, 4 all. Didn't quite pick up the chases, but I think they were pretty good.
Yeah, this is a vital stage of the match for Bryn. If he can win this game, sneak this set, then
15 all. First chase.
My view of who might win it's just changed straight away. But it's all going to be on this.
Playing chase worse than a yard here.
30-15.
For any of you viewers out there that aren't so
Worse
familiar,
than 1
worse than 1 yard is one of the best chases you can get, and to get your second bounce further back than worse than 1 is pretty tricky. So what you saw Tim do was obviously force for the dead on. But on that previous point, he obviously went for the force but caught the net.
40-15.
No, I hope that Bryn takes something from that, because that he really, for the first time, I think, really got hold of that volley.
Yeah.
Tim smacked one and Bryn was there.
Yeah, he was.
And it kind of maybe suggests something, which is, when you get to a top player, the first thing you're meant to expect from a returner serve is the force, because it's the one you have the least time to deal with. Now, maybe Bryn just hasn't been saying it's going to be a force, it's going to be a force, and has been looking too late for the ball to actually come in the air. And now he's looking for it. He might actually start just meeting it.
That's a great shot.
$30-40.
Yeah, I mean, this game here, Ben, has shown Bryn can cope with the pace. He's dealt with it very well on a number of volleys here. That's a great bit of play. Well up. Oh, he's going to struggle.
Game.
5-4.
5 games to 4.
What's your thoughts on this one?
Well, I wouldn't bet on this at the moment, but I really do think that if Bryn starts looking for the ball in the air first and foremost, he's going to give himself a chance in this game.
Oh, wow.
But you see, that's kind of what I mean. That ball went straight past Bryn.
God.
Do you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
actually, he was there, and if he'd been looking at the volley, there's no way he wouldn't have at least got his racket on that.
Yeah.
But he just went straight through him.
Yeah.
So I just think he's got to start saying to himself, it's going to be a force.
This is good play by Tim. This is very good play.
It's aggressive stuff.
Yeah, very aggressive. I mean, again, gone 5-4 down, but he hasn't gone on the defensive. He's still attacking, isn't he? Just not scared. It's that no fear. That's a good shot. Too good. 15-all.
15-all.
Yeah, that shot suddenly becomes far more viable when you're standing a few extra yards up the court. You can actually get the ball past someone. You don't need to hit a target necessarily when you're standing that near the net.
No. Plus 3.
It's a good volley return serve by Tim there. So easy for people at this stage of a set to back off a little bit, but not this guy.
One of the worst things you can do in this game is start getting defensive.
Yeah.
Pushing it around.
We talked of Chris Bray earlier, and I remember saying to Chris one time that, what do you think about on match point? He just said, I want to hit it as hard as I can.
Lost the chase. 30-15, worse than 3.
Tim putting quite a lot of effort into that serve.
Yeah, he is.
Lost the chase. 40-15.
Oh. 2 points for 5-all.
Again, Tim's got this slightly unusual railroad. He tends to put a little bit more top on it than other people. He actually lifts himself up as he hits it, to give, and it's quite effective as long as it hits the back wall first.
First gallery.
And that's probably the right choice from Bryn. He's starting to get a bit behind from that side. It's funny, we talked early on about the different shapes of people, but I can't picture two...
Can you please not comment about my shape when I used to play, please?
I can't picture two of the top 10 players in the world who have a railroad that look vaguely similar. You picture Rory Gunn's kind of long, loopy railroad, Rob's very physical one, and Tim's little topspin one, Chris Bray standing by the penthouse.
Yeah.
And then you got the bunch of lefties, all they look different. And for a serve that's basically got the same name, they're all quite different.
40-15, receiver lead.
Yeah,
Chase is first gallery.
I like that. That's a good analysis. I mean, I don't know about you, but the railroad was maybe why it is so different is that for myself personally playing it, the railroad was such a difficult serve to get right. And maybe that's the reason for the different styles that you see. Good get. That's good.
It's a great backhand, isn't it?
So solid, beautiful looking backhand. It's a good shot. Look at that. Oh, look at this. Oh,
Wow.
wow. Brilliant. Absolute brilliant.
And the interesting thing there is Tim couldn't have played that much better. Every
No.
shot was a defensive shot, and Bryn just kept the pressure up.
In.
See, that's the problem with that backhand down the line shot. If you make it at all loose, then someone, a Bryn, a Tim, a Rob is just going to slot down the girl every time. You can't ever hit that backhand down the line. It's just asking for trouble.
Set point, Bryn. One set all, this is. Oh, he didn't take it.
He's listening to Chris Bray there in his head.
Yeah. That was brave by Tim. That was a fine line, pretty low over the net there, but again, that's typical of Tim Chisholm. Just not scared.
It's interesting again, and we've seen a number of volley return to serve main wall forces that are just sprayed up into the air above the dead eye, and you kind of get the feeling if Tim starts getting range on that, he's going to start getting game after game after game. But can he find his form this week? We don't know.
I think that's certainly the question
Receiver's advantage.
that we've been asking, and I think he's probably been asking of himself. That's why this week is a great test for him, and I think already for Tim to have come over from the United States, this has been whatever the outcome of tonight's match.
Game and the set.
One set all.
One set all.
One set all. Third set, love all.
I think Tim's going to feel like he let something slip through his fingers there. I think that was really close at the end, and that could just as easily gone to 5-all. But Bryn's going to be very pleased with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think considering there for most of that set, Bryn looked pretty good and odds on to win it. And Tim, as you so rightly say, he seemed to hang in there and really to have had 2 points to get back to 5-all. He's going to be pretty disappointed with that, I thought.
I do like that force down the line.
Great shot
from Bryn there. There's double-handed backhand. It's slightly unusual when you're playing against a right-hander that they can actually generate the pace to do that. But where double-handed backhands have their failings, they also have their strengths, and Bryn's able to control that very nicely.
Hazard worse than the second gallery.
It's well backed by Tim.
And we're sure Rob Fee somewhere loving every second of this now it's gone to an extra set, one way or the other.
Good shot.
Again, when Bryn takes the time to hit that cut shot, again, finding the great width. And I think that's what made the difference in the second set. Just finding fantastic width against Tim.
I think that's certainly what's turned the game here for Bryn. He's looking good at the moment, Bryn. I did feel it was important for him to win that second set. A little bit like, I was saying earlier that if Tim had closed that one out, I think 2-love up. It's tough, but
15, serve lead.
I think the
Hazard worse than the second gallery.
It's swung in Bryn's favour here as the younger man. This could be tough now for Tim. I mean,
for the all.
That was an unfeasibly good volley there.
Better than 2.
Wonderful volley.
You kind of get the feeling that Tim's play is likely to be patchy, where Bryn's just kind of solid and he's just kind of playing his game.
Yeah.
Tim's going to be hitting out, and he's going to get 3 games in a row where he just gets it, and 3 games where he just start going penthouse all the time. So
40-30.
yeah,
Game. First game, third set.
very controlled stuff.
Very controlled. Again, that's always been a strength of Bryn. He's got a, as I've been saying, he's got a beautiful, beautiful, tidy game. Just on the up here, Bryn. Yeah, good shot.
15
Again.
love.
A kind of a good rally, but produced from Tim, main wall force missing high again. And I can't recall the last time he's got one of those in. I might be wrong, but I think he's been spraying him up quite a lot right now.
15 all.
He's certainly, from the first set where he was finding those on a fairly regular basis, he's, as you so rightly say, the percentage has been a little bit lower the last set or so, and it's possibly costing him, and it's obviously giving Bryn more confidence.
Again, Bryn finding that backhand volley at the right time.
Look at that. Wow.
Yeah.
That was good.
30-15.
Looking far more confident in front of the dead on now.
Yeah.
That set's given him a boost.
Yeah, big boost. Good call by the marker.
Yeah,
That
great
was
call.
down. It was down. Yeah, he's just looking a little bit more confident here, Ben.
I think it's 4 in a row out of the dead eye he's got on the backhand now.
Game.
2-love, third set.
Kind of got the impression from that last shot that maybe Tim's looking for
Serving
answers.
2 games to
It's
love.
like, hold on, that smashed it down the line's not working. I've got to start kind of hitting nicks and stuff.
The door.
See, that last shot's a little bit telling, if you ask me. Normally Tim would be a little bit closer to that.
I
and
was
he's just
thinking
not.
that. I was thinking that. I don't know if is that tiredness. Do you think, or
Could well be. I mean,
that's a good get from Bryn.
but again, he was looking for it, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like, here we are, second hour. I've had balls smacked to me for the last hour. I'm looking for it now. I'm expecting the ball to come hard. And he's getting his racket there, he's getting his feet there. He's ready to play it. And it's really exhausting for the person forcing as well. You smash when it comes back, you smash when it comes back. You find the third one's loose, you know.
No strokes. First chase is the door.
I mean, credit here to Bryn. He's certainly dealing. Oh, Tim.
Oh,
50
Tim, yeah, that was
love.
far too loose, that return to serve, and he'd kicking himself for that one.
More than a yard worse than the last gallery.
More than a yard worse to beat here.
Yeah, you just sense at this stage that Bryn's dealing with it a lot better than he was.
15
And
all.
maybe, Tim is just a little bit from, the 4 sets he had with Ben Matthews yesterday. Just feeling it a little bit. I suppose, Bryn is probably looking at it from point of view that this was similar in the British, so he's probably taking confidence that he can go on and win this match similar to the Open where he came through 3-1. But
there's a lot of loose shots that rally, actually. That was a bit weird, wasn't it?
yeah,
You kind of often find that in real tennis, that someone hits a bad shot and just suddenly you have a really weird rally where no one's doing the right thing, and then next point everything will be back to normal again.
For the all.
see that again, that's a tad of a tired miss, that one there.
Yeah.
didn't really turn on that. He was picking that up earlier.
Well, in the first set, he might have volleyed it.
Yeah.
Hazard, second gallery for the all.
Again, Bryn keeps his racket so low off the back wall with that double hand. He's able to scoop loads out.
14-30, change service.
Strangely, I think that was probably the right shot there.
I agree. I think if he'd got that, that would have been tough for Tim to get across there and get that back. It really is an amazing game, this. You know, you look at the start and Tim certainly on the up, and how this game can change. It's just incredible. This, I think, is a key game. I mean, Tim 40-30 up,
40-30.
2-love down. He needs this.
Receiver lead.
He doesn't want to let this guy get too far ahead in this set.
40-30, receiver lead. Hazard, second gallery.
Right, defending hazard chase. He's got to make this tight.
He's got room.
Yeah, it wasn't a very tight serve. It's so hard to bring that railroad back across in this court, isn't it?
It is difficult. It is. You know, we were talking about this earlier, where Robert seems to have that upper body strength that can pull that ball back. It's very difficult to do.
Worse than the second gallery.
Again, Tim's just looking at that thinking, how can I keep missing that?
Yeah.
I mean, he probably felt a bit unlucky with that one, but...
love.
Couldn't quite see. Was that quite near the wall, that one? I was surprised Bryn missed that.
Yeah, it actually wasn't that close. I mean, it was a fairly good cut shot by Tim, but I was surprised to see the racket error. That's a very good get, Bryn. It's a good shot. Tim just turned this around a little bit.
Well, he suddenly looks a little bit more jumpy, doesn't he?
He does, doesn't he? He's going to hit that.
Yeah.
40 love, change service.
Yeah, that almost came through. I'm glad there's perspex here.
Yes. I think also the thing is, though, Ben, is that, you know, once you start having a little bit of upturn in fortune, you suddenly find a bit of spring in your foot again, don't you? You know.
Well, that was like three or 4 points in a row where Tim did something not aggressive but positive. You know, you didn't feel like he was. He just, you know, he missed that main wall, but then from that point onwards, he hit 2 great cut shots, 1 great force. Can change on a dime. I think Tim figures if he doesn't want to lose this set. I know it sounds obvious, but if he loses this set, he's got to win 2. He's got to go to 5. Then he's got to play Rob tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's got to close this out right now. And
I think so.
40 love.
I mean, I think
worse than the second gallery.
I think that's the difference for Bryn. I think that, you know, Bryn can, as a younger man, he can go 5 here, and he can pitch up 24 hours later, and he can play again. Tim, on the other hand, is just, you know,
covered in dicks.
That's a great get.
Oh. Game.
Great pickup. 2 all.
2 games all.
Well,
third set.
The crowd here enjoying this one. There's not a lot in it. Again, I'm impressed there with Tim.
It's a good serve.
Yeah, he's a good serve.
I mean, that's the basic game plan, isn't it? Plan A, hit a great serve, force a bad return, put it away. That's what every player out there is actually trying to do. Not win the point on the serve,
no.
Just force a bad return and then put it away.
But that's what Rob does. Day in, day out. You know, great serve, force the weak return, puts the ball away. Just does it all the time.
A bubble from the back of the court, that's interesting.
Very interesting. Probably cost him, actually, Ben.
Yeah.
Wasn't the best serve at this top level, and here at Lords the ball does come down.
I remember watching Camden when he's kind of getting down to number 2 in the world and that kind of stuff, and he'd do all this good stuff. He'd run around the court like crazy, and he'd serve a bobble from the back of the court, and it just kept on getting murdered. I was like, what are you doing? And eventually he kind of thought, okay, kind of slopped his way up to 6.
That's good cover there. Shot. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice backhand.
Good backhand.
30-15.
Talked about that backhand earlier on in the match. Great shot.
Yeah, Tim's one of the few people, along with Rob, who can kind of reasonably consistently hit grills from the backhand side. He's got the strength and pace to kind of get it there. But then with the same looking shot can then hit a perfectly good cut shot cross court. So right, 30-15 to Tim, 2 chases. It's really hard to tell which way this is going, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, 10 minutes ago I was thinking Tim was looking a little bit up against it, but at this moment it's in the balance again. I agree. I think, as we've said, I think the pressure's a little bit more on Tim because he's probably got to win this in the next 2 sets, whereas Bryn can, play. So
that's interesting. It's a main wall that was going in. It's interesting. Tim's gone for a number of volley return to serve main walls, but not so many main walls just off the back wall. And that. See if that starts working for him. Oh, great get.
Get. Oh, I say.
30-40.
That was super play. Fantastic volley return to serve by Tim. Carving that ball into this forehand corner, and Bryn getting across, picking it up, winning the point. Bang.
No. Worse than 3.
Again, I'm really liking Bryn's movement now. I know he lost that one, but he's looking to take those balls now. Tim's blasting it around, and Bryn's going, right, I'm ready for this now. That's what's made this a battle. That's what won in the second set, and that's what's going to make this an incredibly close match from this point.
I mean, that's, as I said, I talk of Bryn being tidy, but, he is. I mean, as you say, footwork. He looks pretty fresh up that end as well, doesn't he?
30-40. Serve leads. Worse than 3. Fault.
There it is, bubble from the back of the court. Let's see what happens here. And it's an ace.
Game.
I must admit I was going to go with you there, Ben. But yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Oh, snuck it in there.
15 up. Chase, worse than 2.
Having a slight problem with batteries around here. People can't hear the scoring.
Worse than guard. Chin service.
That's a lovely shot from Bryn there. It's now 3 games to 2 to Tim. 15 love to Bryn, 2 chases. Do you believe in the vital 7th game?
Yeah, I do.
It's not this one, by the way, but
no, I know.
It's coming up.
I know. I think when you had in the previous set, when you had a small toilet break, that I said then about the vital 7 we talk about, and
Oh, I think that's the first time he's
30
done that,
love.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Worse than a yard.
Just
And you wonder, he's going to be
back
asking
a bit.
himself, is that a good tiredness thing? He's going to be banishing it from his mind, you know,
Yeah.
it's all right, just don't do it again.
That's a good serve. Good serve.
40 love.
Do you know, Tim does that a lot, right? You would never find Rob Fay catching that ball. He would have a thrash at it.
Yeah.
He'd boast against the back wall. He'd get in there before, I don't know, but he just wouldn't just go, yeah, it's too good. You'd never see him do that.
Yeah, I mean, some of those, I mean, you're right. I mean, you get that ball so tight to that back wall when you watch Rob play, and yet somehow he just gets the power to boast that ball in the forehand corner like that ricochet that shoots cross court and actually turns into a damn good shot.
It's quite weird and true that quite often in this game, that the shot that you're forced to play because you're in a bad position, if you hit it hard, it's actually quite hard for your opponent because
3 yards.
that's an interesting lawn tennis shot there, isn't it? It's quite hard for your opponent because they're not used to seeing that kind of shot. And they've only seen like a couple of thousand in their life instead of the 100,000.
15
something
love.
else.
Three and more than a yard worse than the last.
We're still looking for batteries here. Right, 3 games all, 15 love to Tim, 2 chases.
15 love, server leads. First chase is 3. Full. $15 all.
That's potentially a bit of a tired
More
mistake
than a
there
yard
again from
worse
Tim.
than the last
Difficult
gallery.
length ball, but you know, when you're pumped up, you get in there and you take that early.
That's a good get, though. Good get. It's a good shot. It's a good
Yeah,
shot.
you can't really get that back. It's so
30,
close to being
15.
timber instead of wall timber that it just sprays out a completely different angle.
Chase 2.
He'd have been disappointed to miss that one, Ben.
Must have cut down pretty bad.
Yeah. I just think on that type of ball, again, that's such a strength of Rob's, you know, just that type of ball, he gets down to it, gets hold of it, and it's often going towards the grill.
Do you know, the other thing is, I'm trying to
For the
kind of
all-
form a stat on main wall forces that are going in missing, and they're missing high so often. It's like the ball skids off the wall and goes up. It skids up, and it might be a feature of this court. But you know, at what point do you start thinking, I'm going to aim a bit lower, and you know, although that one was low.
2 and better than
I mean,
4. for the
you're
all.
the pro here. Is it a hard shot to pull off here, the main wall force?
No, I don't think it is. I think that I think they're just a little bit off.
Well, you say that it's Rob's shot of choice in a number of situations, and I kind of feel like he didn't hit that many today against James.
Yeah, he certainly hit less than you would expect, but you never can tell with Rob. You know, I mean, he's always got other tricks up his sleeve. So maybe, you know, he saw Jamie and thought, well, you know, this guy's maybe pretty good at picking these out, because he's
First
probably.
chase is
I
2.
mean, that again was a shot Chris Bray was good at with that main wall force. These boys kind of volley that ball back into that side wall. And Jamie's obviously got a fantastic bow, so maybe Rob thought the actual straight force was better, but you're right, he actually
Lost
did
the chase. 40-30.
main wall force
Better
less,
than
but
4.
I don't really think that's a feature of the court. I think it's possibly just a tactic that these boys are, or in Rob's case, was employing with who he was playing. overhit that one a little bit. It's a good get. It's a good get.
Game.
Yeah, well, a well orchestrated point there from Bryn there.
4 games to 3, Tampy.
That's 4-3 Bryn. 4-3. This is a very, very key part of the match for me, I think.
So what does Tim start doing when he's down? He hits out.
Hits out.
He hits out.
15 love.
I think for Tim at this stage, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, as you rightly say, he just got to find that accuracy a little bit, which is tough when you're getting tired.
Chase. 3 and 4.
If you've got a weapon like that, that last shot in particular, he's drilling it. He probably wasn't aiming to do what he just did, but you force a lot of racket errors, a lot of nicks, and a lot of chases just through being able to do that. So if you get someone and they kind of hit a purple patch like that, you've got to stop feeding that forehand volley smash. Basically, got to serve a bit tighter, really concentrate on it.
I mean, he's certainly
30-15.
not hanging back, is he? He's going for it. That's 2 down-ons here.
Yeah, he's cracked the last 3 shots, hasn't he?
Bit loose on that middle shot, but he's still 30-15 up. Yeah, high again, as you said.
It's only really high with the volley returner.
40-15, chain service.
It's weird, you know. And strangely, that's one you can actually hit down on more.
I think that's the problem. I think he's just he's falling backwards on that a little bit, and that's why he's going high, because the body weight actually isn't going forward towards the ball.
I have actually always found this court a little bit hard to volley returner serve on, because the side ball acts very differently from the penthouse, doesn't it? It's like one moves on, the other kind of slows down.
That's right.
I can't remember which way around it is actually. I think does it skid off the sidewall and then slow down on the penthouse?
I was going to say slow. That would be the right way around. Yeah.
Right, let's see if he continues to hit out from this side then. 40-15 up at 4-3.
40-15. Server leads. Chase is 3 and 4.
That's a great
30-40.
That's a great return. Now he needs this point. Ben, 30-40. He doesn't want to lose this game. Big point. It's well up.
I was a bit surprised he left it for the back
It's
wall.
a great backhand. Yes, that backhand again, Ben.
Yeah. 4-all.
Wow.
4-all.
That was a good shot. Good shot from there. He needed that game. 1-all, 4-all. I'm just wondering at this stage if he should maybe, Ben, change that serve. I just kind of feel that he's giving Bryn too much room at the moment to attack him into this forehand corner, which is going to be a bit tiring.
Well, I've kind of always thought that Rob
15 love.
is better than Tim.
Yeah.
Rob serves probably better than anyone, but it's quite telling. And look, this serve, for example, here, I'm not quite sure what the plan is.
Worse than a yard.
Because against a player slightly weaker than Bryn on the returner serve, you're going to get a few errors, but I don't know. I mean, as we just saw from Bryn on that one, he's just able to cut it on the volley and it's not doing too much. There are some courts that serve really works on, but I kind of get the feeling Tim's come along. I don't know how much practice he had on the court beforehand, but as you said, he arrived here.
Not a lot. I mean, you know, again, as we talk about, you know, being club pro, you've got responsibility. You can't, and obviously his family, you can't be away that long. So, you know, he jetted in late Friday night, so really only one practice.
Oh, that's too loose. Oh!
40-15.
I think with that railroad at the moment, you know, he's not getting that ball to kick back anywhere near enough, and it's giving Bryn too much room to either, you know, play down the line, play potentially straight force, play the main wall force. He's just giving him too many options, and he probably needs to look at that.
Well, the type of shaped railroad that Tim has is actually effectively a slightly topspin railroad, and the whole idea with that is that you're meant to be hitting the low back wall and just making it run out as flat as you can. And as far as I can remember from last time I saw Tim playing, he doesn't seem to be quite striking it as hard. He doesn't seem to be kind of blasting into the back wall like he used to, and at which point it doesn't really matter how far back in it comes, as long as you're getting that length right.
Wow.
30-40.
That was a good return.
And he needed it.
He did need it.
30-40.
Yeah, he needed that one. was a chance.
Yeah, Bryn's going to be upset with himself on that one because much though Tim put a fair amount of curl on it, it wasn't particularly taxing. I think
no, it wasn't. Straight down the middle. That was a chance there for Bryn. Good get from there from Bryn. Not easy. Gonna get that off the bank wall. Oh, that's a nice. Oh, brilliant pick up. Brilliant pick up, Bryn.
Fantastic gets from Bryn here.
Wonderful. Oh, it's tough. Tough.
Tough, but I kind
Serves
of get the
advantage.
feeling that 8 games ago his feet would move faster than that.
Yeah, he did kind of
Full.
Yeah.
Out of court, 1 full.
I actually think that high serve from Bryn's not a bad idea. If he's going for these main wall kind of and curling stuff, it's not actually damaging Bryn that much.
Yeah.
As we mentioned before, you're expecting a good return from a good player, just limiting what they can do is the plan. Oh, that could have been terminal.
What's he going to do?
Chase worse than
Fair
6.
I think he was clearly from that shot, how he struck that, he was looking for the chase. There was no dead on there for me. Too low, so obviously happy to get back this end. Try and close out, this game maybe. Vital part of the, for me, this is a vital part of the match for Tim. He has to. I personally think he has to win this set.
So what's he going to serve on? What was that, about a yard worse than the last?
Yeah, something like that.
Receives advantage.
like a railroad
Chase
again.
is worse than 6.
Worse than 6.
Oh.
That's better. Oh, did well.
Juice.
Did well. I don't know. It still gave him a lot of room on that return, Ben, and it was a good get, but it was lucky.
Better than the second gallery.
Tough for Bryn there.
Juice.
For all juice. Oh.
Advantage, change service.
Yeah, that's his first backhand volley miss that I can remember.
Yeah.
Interesting again, he went for that underarm twist serve from the middle of the court. Again, not a very standard serve amongst the top players. And Bryn hit a fantastic return, put Tim on the back foot. I'm just not sure that's the right thing to be trying to serve against Bryn. You talked earlier, Bryn's got certain weapons and certain strengths, and his volley return to serve is pretty good if you give him the time to hit it.
It is pretty good. It is pretty good.
Very
Serve
uncharacteristic miss of a backhand
Chase
volley
is
there for
better
Tim.
than the second gallery.
I think Tim's going to have to muster, a lot of his experience here to see this one.
Juice.
It's a good return. Getting that railroad, it's that railroad serve. It's in this case coming from Bryn, but it's actually giving the receiver so much time. Oh, he's missed that one. Good job. Good pickup. Good pickup. Well done, Bryn.
Very safe shot.
It's a good shot from there.
Serve advantage.
Made that look a lot easier than it was.
Bryn's had a number of game points here to go to 5-4. I think this is probably the 5th, so... Again, I'm quite liking that high serve
He's
against him.
serving it well. That's a good shot. Oh, yeah.
Game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good shot.
5.
It's not that Tim can't hit the high serve. In fact, there's an argument to say it's kind of sitting. It's just really hard to control it when you're generating your own pace from such a high ball. And I think he's been having success with it, despite what seems to be happening from the far side. Again, there you go. Just
50 love.
Yeah.
I wish I could think like this when I was actually playing.
Yes.
It's all very easy, kind of doing the stats from back here and kind of working out what's working. But when you're on court, you're just thinking about getting back and getting this shot.
And your mind's full of a cloud. It's a good
Or
shot.
if I'm lucky.
It's not
Very
it's
red
not-
cloud if it's
Yeah.
mine.
15 all.
Oh, that's brave. I mean,
Well, I
that should be a fault.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I think he's got a great forehand volley, and
Out of court.
if Tim Chisholm was Tim Chisholm number 2 in the
30,
world,
15.
he should be looking to take that
Yeah,
every time.
I
reckon.
agree.
I mean, at the end of the day, someone's just going to do a tight little second serve you can't hit. So There it is again. He's like cutting it up.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Possibly why it's going high.
Yeah, there's no real reason to actually cut the volley returner serve main wall force.
14-15.
That's 2 set points for a 2-1 lead here. That's a great volley. Oh,
Game.
wow.
In the third set.
Good volley.
I actually don't know what happened there. I thought Tim was there.
Yeah.
Server leads. 2 sets to 1.
It's time for Tim to prove us all
Fourth
wrong
set.
now, I think.
Love all.
Yeah. It's going to be tough.
I actually
15
don't think
love.
this match has been quite grueling enough for us to write Tim off at this moment at all.
No, absolutely. I agree. I mean, I think that
there hasn't been the huge number of rallies that there can be in matches like this.
30
and,
love.
if he can just hit out and start hitting that main wall force in, then he can really upset Bryn. But the fact that Bryn's looking for it again, working in his favour.
15-30.
I think what's also changed this game is that we were saying earlier about how we felt that Bryn was not particularly coping well with the pace. To be fair to Bryn, where I think the game has turned partly is that I think maybe it is a combination. Tim's missing a little bit more, but he's seeing that ball better, and he's kind of counteracting that big first shot. And maybe that's what's putting Tim under a bit more pressure to try and hit even harder, and therefore he's hitting a bit higher.
Yes, he's also been slotting those grills off the easy ball quite well. Oh, damn you, Bryn.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah.
There you go.
40-30.
Sticking with this high serve then.
Yes, he is.
I think he's worked it out.
Ooh.
Again, look at the
First
errors
game,
coming
fourth
in.
set.
That's something that basically happens when you're tired.
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely.
You've got to hit through that. You can't give it. I mean, Tim's always put arguably a little bit too much curl on his returner serve volley. He's where it's a very different kind of curl from the one Rob does as well. It's
It's
a
different style.
And it's Tim's good enough to actually kind of be able to get away with it. I mean, whereas some of us who aren't as talented won't be able to do it. But actually, when you're trying to curl the ball too much on a high ball, you can just as easily hit floor net as you can and hit a main wall force. So
It was interesting talking to Rob yesterday about Tim's style of play, and I mean, again, because these two have been such fantastic, opponents to one another, but Rob said that Tim's game always was very much kind of fine line, that it was very close to the net, which obviously made him...
I mean, have you seen Tim practicing? He cuts the hell out of the ball from, he's really, really aggressive on the floor when he's practicing, and you're right, if you're slightly out of shape, slightly off form, that could just go horribly wrong.
When you're so fine line like that, absolutely, and also, if the body's getting a bit tired, it's margins, it's percentage, isn't it?
Of note, I think it's worth pointing out that if Bryn gets to the final here, I'm fairly sure that he's pretty much secured a slot in the World Championship race.
Is that right?
Well, I mean, I was trying to go through the maths in my mind before I came down here, but he's already solidly in fourth, and having done better than Stout, should he beat Chisholm today, I'm fairly sure that the only other potential challenger, Ben Matthews, would struggle to catch Bryn at this stage.
So
in order, it's Vergona, Revere, Sayers, Stout, and then Matthews currently not in, and no one else really looking to challenge except for Tim, who's beneath Matthews. But then, if Tim makes it into the final, then he's going to start clipping at Matthews' heels and approaching Bryn. So
when does this kind of season's race? I mean, kind of
the end of December.
Does it?
Yeah.
But really, even now in only March, you think potentially Bryn's probably done enough at this stage. There's not enough tournaments left.
Well, because there's the season for the World Championships goes over the space of 2 years, and we've had the whole of last year, and now this is the second. Is this the? No, it's the first match this year, isn't it? But Bryn put in enough good results that he really should get away with. But no, there's a chance for everyone. But I'm just making a final against Rob with this field.
14.
He's gonna have to really choke.
Yeah, I mean,
to not get through.
And to be fair to Bryn, he's not a choker. I mean, if you look at his, he is a solid, consistent competitor. I mean, he's he doesn't often have off days, and he seems to have this knack of constantly semis, finals now. So, as I said, I mean,
it's funny. It was kind of surprising at first, and then it just became accepted. Yeah, Bryn's looking good for the semi, all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
Juice.
That was expensive. That one. Back down to juice.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I think credit to Bryn. I think in the last year, he has, he obviously last year was, I think,
Better than 1 yard.
would that have been his first eliminator challenge, obviously against Vergona, which obviously, of course, Steve was successful in. But personally, I think from that experience, I mean, we've just seen Bryn get better and better. I mean, obviously from after the eliminator, he got to the final of the US in New York, losing to James, beating Vergona on the way, and results since just seem to have got better and better. So he's going to be a very serious contender for the next eliminator, I think, Ben, personally.
That last rally, Bryn really it's so calm. It really is just calm.
Yeah.
It seems to hit the right shot, and also, whether this is a good thing or not, he plays with himself. He knows what he can hit, and he keeps on adding to his repertoire as the years go by. And he just chooses the right shot at the right time. That's what I've been so impressed by today.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Oh, can't do anything about it.
Beautiful.
Juice.
Back down to juice again.
I wish my football team, Cambridge United, could hit a shot into the top corner like that.
Do they still play?
Just.
Serve advantage.
My cousin Matty's just turned up grinning. Matty almost got into the semi-finals today.
That would have been a disaster for tennis.
Game. 2 games for love.
He'd have probably actually put together his new newspaper so he could be on the back page and splattered everywhere.
I think Matty would probably put himself on page 3 as well.
Yeah. I'm not saying anything to that.
He's left that as a chase on purpose there. Ooh, tricky one to deal with that.
15 love.
Yeah. Sticking with this high serve again, Bryn, and he's been getting incredible success off it.
He has. He's serving that well.
Again, I once watched a match between. I don't really want to say who it is because I don't. But
15
I
all.
watched a guy serve 4 serves, 4 caterpillars, in fact, win 3 of the points, and eventually a chase happened after a long rally, and he only served 4 for the entire match. And you just kind of think maybe you could have done that a couple more times,
Yeah.
And it's so hard to stay on top of what's winning, what's losing. But Bryn's worked out what's going on. He's changed his game to deal with the force. He's dealing this high serve, which is keeping him on top of Tim. It's actually another thing worth mentioning is that the human body is very weak above the shoulder. You need to do a lot of upper body strength to be able to deal with that. You just, when you try holding your arms above your head if you haven't done weights for a while, it's knackering. And he's forcing Tim to kind of hit this effective smash again and again and again. Now, don't get me wrong, there aren't many sports you want someone to keep smashing the ball at you, but it's actually might be one of the things helping tire Tim down in the arm department. Another athlete on court there.
You wouldn't say that to his face.
No way.
40-30. Server leads, Hazard, worse than a yard.
40-30 Tim, he needs this. Oh, he's gone for that side gallery, just missed it. But
Oh, that's fortunate.
yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You know, when you get on top a little bit, you start to get the rub of the green. And he got that there. That's a good shot.
He's been finding those.
Yeah, he has. Again, that serve though we talked about, Ben. I just don't think he's it's just loose. It's giving him too much room. And obviously, if he's getting a little bit slower across, he's got room to get it in anyhow. Yeah, it's a good shot.
Last gallery, team service.
He wants to serve.
Yeah, he wants to
serve. He wants to go up and send those high ones up all day. Be interesting to see if he tries it tomorrow against Rob if he wins this the high one. See the difference in the returns. It's funny watching the first set and watching Tim. You just think, wow, this guy's a class act. But
Yeah.
He's just
Chase is
can't
last
keep
gallery.
it up. It's fitness.
Juice.
You know, that was a great return to serve volley, but even that looked more laboured than the first set, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree.
There's more arm in it and.
Good shot.
That's a lovely shot.
Tidy, very tidy, Bryn. Beautiful shot.
Service advantage. Game. 3 games to love.
Again, I sound like I'm going on about this, but that's just not a shot that I pictured Tim missing too often.
No, I mean, I think earlier on in the match he certainly wouldn't have missed that, and
15
maybe
love.
that one there.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, possibly, when you're getting a little bit tired, you just snatch that bit more, don't you?
Oh, and call.
You just become not so much impatient, but just a little bit desperate to try and secure points, which I think is what we're possibly seeing here.
Chase, worse than 2, 15 love.
At what point do you start saying, okay, I'm hitting out, it's not working? Because he's got a great cut volley return serve.
He's got a great cut volley.
So,
The problem is, though, Ben, is that, if the big game that he was using earlier was obviously working, and now it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he feels that he's got the legs here to outrun this fella. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say, okay,
Well,
got to change your game plan a little bit.
I think his cut volley can just win points straight up, though.
Yeah.
Oh, he's done
look
that
at that!
He's
Wow.
having more success with that than with the main one.
15,
Yeah.
30.
I think probably given what he's missed on the main wall, he should be probably trying to play that shot a little bit more, because Bryn's looking for this ball to the right.
Oh,
Wow, that's a wonderful get. I don't know how clear you guys can see that, but that was just
well left.
Oh, I say. Oh, look at that. Oh, I think Tim looks at that and thinks, gee whiz. That's summing up my night now.
But he has. Bryn's been so consistent with that loose ball hitting the grill in the last couple of sets.
Yes.
I mean, even if he's tearing around after it.
You just there's no. If you can hit targets in this game, it's so key. I mean,
worse than 2.
We're now looking at a point for 4 love in the fourth set here.
Yeah, he's gone away quite quickly here, hasn't he? I mean, we did kind of think this, Ben, towards that latter part of the third set, that if this didn't go Tim's way, he's probably thinking 5 sets. I don't know, and obviously. I mean, I still think, from Tim's perspective, this is a tremendous effort, given you know, he's been out of the game as long as he has, to still be able to come up against someone like Bryn and put in this type of performance.
Yeah, I agree. I do hope that he kind of goes on the assumption that he's going to lose at this stage. I do hope he goes away from this and kind of says, you know, I'm going to keep going and keep working at this. You know, I've got much more to give. I can get better than this. And
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that is going to depend on, you know, how much he wants to put in the gym, on the training side. I mean, you know, again, I was speaking with Rob yesterday, and you know, I said to Rob, you know, what do you think? And you know, Rob, you know, being Rob, didn't say too much with it, but personally, I think, you know, when you've been out of the game so long, it's tough. You know, I mean, we look at Rob earlier, and you know, the 5 years or so that Tim's been out of the game, Rob's still been doing what he's done for the best part of 20 years, and that's probably why he can still do it as he can. I mean, does Tim go back to, you know, the States and hit the gym?
No.
Oh.
7-3.
Sorry, I didn't miss it.
I thought that was well marked. It was definitely down. Definitely down. Don't argue with Mark Ryan, the marker.
Yeah, you're saying about the rub of the green there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. It's still 3-love. Why do I think Bryn had got to 4-love then?
Yeah, he did have a point for it.
Okay.
No, you're right. He did have a point for it.
This is last-ditch effort from Tim here.
Serves advantage. Chase is better than 3.
Chase better than 3 to beat. To hold off that 4-love. That is a beautifully played point from Tim. I'm taking that one, the chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautifully played point from Tim. Literally, I think he hit 6 shots in a row that was just pinpoint.
Absolute pinpoint.
To be honest, Bryn did well to get back a number of them. So that's fighting talk.
Because they were a waste 30.
Yeah, that was just too good, too hard. We've been saying that Bryn's been looking for those
Receives
down
the
when it's that hard and good, you know.
It's out of the court. Deuce.
So what have you got up there that makes that out? Because for the viewers that can't see, is it lights dangling down on rafters or?
Lights and lights would be the obvious, but also through the beams is out of court.
Advantage.
I wouldn't have thought. Through the beams out.
Because in my court, down at Hyde, through the beams is in. We like adding random factors and stuff like that.
Oh, do you?
Different size balls.
We probably, when people like Matt Ronson play here, we actually should do the same rule probably. Over the beams is in, but.
Game.
Well, that's staying low off the back wall, isn't it?
Yeah.
4 games.
It can do. It's
okay,
those
that's
corners
4-love
can be.
now.
This broadcast has been fairly straightforward.
Now's the time to find a main wall volley returner serve.
The last 5 minutes, Matt Ronson being sat to my right side. It's got a lot harder, but there you go. There's actually a few seats available at the moment, but he has to sit right next to me.
15 love.
It's very nerve-wracking.
Is it the smell? Strangely, Tim's hit 3 decent forces in a row here. The second one a bit low, third one a bit low, but basically strong, hard. Not giving up.
No, I think that's not Tim's character. He'll keep going. It's a good shot. Oh, that's a good pick-up. Bit tired.
15, 30.
Hold that.
He'd normally cut that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I'd have thought so. But he stayed upright, didn't he, and was happy just to roll that one. A bit of a tired shot.
His feet are still moving to a certain extent. It's just like kind of one of his arms got tired.
20-15, change up.
he was icing the arm quite a lot after his first match with Connor on Sunday. So
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
you know, he's obviously got that support on. So I mean, I guess again, wear and tear on the body. It's a tough game, this, isn't it? I mean, you know, it's.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
I'm here with my bust, hip, knee and back at the moment. At least I can see straight.
40-15. Serve leads worse than the last gallery.
It's a great get, Tim.
Great volley as well.
Yeah, wonderful volley.
Game.
And Tim's got a game.
1 game to 4.
1-4.
4.
I certainly wouldn't rule Tim out, but it's a long way back, I think. It's just a little wayward.
Last gallery.
There you go, isn't it? Amazing again. Just that you get on the up a little bit and loose ball.
Well, you
last
say
gallery.
that, but I thought it was a pretty ineffective serve, though, wasn't it? His bobble from the back of the court.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, Bryn steps up, could just have easily been main or four, so I think he was lucky to get away with second gallery.
You just wouldn't really see Rob serve a ball like that, would you? Really?
No, not at all. Not unless he was taking a mick.
15 left. $15
That's not a shot I see Bryn try and do too often. Hitting a kind of controlled backhand volley down the line off that shot. Ooh.
30.
Again, that serve, Ben, it's just giving him too much room to push him over to this forehand corner, and as the match is worn on, you know, and the body starts to tire, he's just struggling to get those back now.
He still wants it, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I say, that's a great pick. Beautiful hands. Beautiful hands. Shot.
For the all.
Well, strangely, what put Bryn on the back foot for that rally was sending his cut shot into Tim's backhand far too not wide enough.
Yeah.
40.
Which kind of creates the rest of the point to a certain degree.
Well, he's making a bit of a fight of this.
Yeah.
This is point for 2-4.
Oh, hello. Everyone's left and the sound's back.
Ah.
Yeah. Did we just put the battery back in then?
No. It's just gone off again.
40-30. Receiver leads. Last gallery.
Chase last gallery,
Yeah.
40-30 to Tim.
40-30, yeah. Oh,
Juice.
Tim. That was low, wasn't it? Low into the bottom of the net. Disappointed with that. Yeah, that's a good answer, though.
It was a slightly different high serve that Bryn did there. Do you notice that?
Yeah, I did actually.
Might not do that again. Yeah, I'll go with the old one. That's it.
Yeah.
He actually came, the serve before he hit with a bit more slice. That one was coming around the outside of.
Stroke. Game.
Ooh. 2-4. 2-4.
2 games to
Ooh.
4. $15 love.
That's what he was catching him with a little bit earlier, wasn't it? You know, that kind of high one to the...
Well, it's interesting because Bryn's continued with this high serve, which I don't think is necessarily a wrong thing, but... Oh, he's changed it again.
No, it's definitely that's different, isn't it?
Yeah, but Tim stopped trying to volley return and serve it. Anymore, he's just kind of realised, hold on,
Oh.
I haven't been
15
playing
all.
it with that, and he's been taking off the back wall and just going for straight dead-ons and galleries and stuff like that. So
This would be a big, big turnaround for
Case
Tim.
worse than 2.
He could do this. 2-1 down,
15
4
off.
love down he was, to now 2-4.
Again, interesting that ball a few games ago, Tim would be main wall forcing, and he just cut it into the corner instead. He's figuring he's not getting away with it.
It's in.
Oh,
Wow.
30-15.
Did well from there. Shot.
yeah, that's been his most consistent shot for the last few games, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we said, didn't we, earlier, you know, at that stage that we thought he should have been using that more, because he has been more consistent at that. Yeah, it's a good
Worse
shot.
than 2, better
Again,
than
that's
2 for
about
your.
I think that's about 8 high serves in a row where Tim hasn't tried to do the main wall
Yeah.
force. Because I mean, literally, we must have got one in what, 15, 20 in, and he's just thought, right, cut that out, start forcing cutting, and but not doing that shot, and he seems to be pulling the percentages back.
It certainly pulled him back into this game. I mean, I think he's got 2 reasonable chases, 15-30. You know, if he could pull this game off 3-4, he's back in it.
It's amazing how tactical this game can be. People go through the peaks and troughs of what they're good and bad at, and you've got to notice what's going on.
Worse
Again,
and
also,
better
you know,
than
when you're dealing
2.
with top players like this, Ben, I mean, obviously,
Worse than 2.
whereas maybe a lesser player just, I'm not saying panics, but he just, you know, he hasn't got plan B.
Timmy. It's funny, normally Bryn hits it one straight.
Yeah. Ooh.
15 love.
Yeah, be disappointed with that. It was a good shot by Bryn, but I thought Tim could have got one back. Still too much room.
It's weird. Bryn is literally hitting that ball
30
at half
love.
pace compared to Tim, and he's definitely got more in percentage-wise.
That's a good volley. No.
40 love.
Yeah. A little bit of emotion there from Bryn, which we don't see a lot of, which obviously, you know, from 4 love up to 3-4, he knows how important this game is.
I didn't catch it. What did he do?
Just, no, he just showed a little bit of, you know, a fist and a bit of a reaction there.
$40 love. Server leads. The door.
4-3, 40 love,
Full.
4th set.
Game.
That's fantastic. Again, Tim would
5
be disappointed to
games
miss
to
that
3.
ball, but Bryn did exactly the right thing.
So Bryn within 1 game of placing the final against Robert.
Chase 3.
Matty's just loving Adam saying Robert all the time.
Full. $15 love. Full.
Interesting. Bryn's stopped with the high serve now on that first serve. Kind of realised that Tim had just changed his mind about what to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously kept with that serve, didn't he, for a few games, and as you say,
For a set at least, I would say, yeah.
30
Tim,
love.
But again, I mean, it's impressive that Bryn's kind of keeping track of that
Yeah.
and saying, you know,
yeah, it's not working.
yeah.
Got to change. It's a good shot.
3, but the
Great
yard.
30 love though, Bryn. 2 points within winning this. But I think 2 good chases.
Right then.
30
love
love.
down. 5-3 down. 2 chases. 2
Receiving,
good chases.
First
There.
chase is 3 yards.
3 yards, yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad chase. Puts in a cut side ball. Bryn can play this. That's going to beat it.
40 love.
Yeah, Tim had to play it. 3 match points.
Better than 1 yard.
That's it.
There it is.
Set.
Again, a very consistent shot for Bryn.
It's been absolutely. He's hit that so well. Yeah,
I just like the way I think Bryn thought his way through that match.
I agree.
He reacted to what Tim was doing, found the right thing to do, and when that stopped working, found a different thing to do, and just played a very, very considered, thought-out game there.
Yeah,
Excellent.
very mature performance. It just shows how good Bryn's become, and yeah, well done, Bryn.
Right, well, I think that's it for this evening. We're going to see you tomorrow for the final, which is going to be Bryn against the reigning world champion.
Yeah, I'm going to check out too. I've now got an appointment with Sky Sports, but thank you very much for listening.
Right then, we're here at Lord's and we've just had the 2 semi-finals today, and I have here with me now Bryn Sayers, who's just been victorious over Tim Chisholm. Bryn, congratulations, that was a fantastic match.
Cheers, Ben. Thank you.
So what happened to you in the European Open last year?
I lost to Rob, I believe, in the semi.
In the semi-finals, so it's your first time in the final European Open.
European, yeah.
Well, let's talk about your match today. You played Tim,
yeah.
and I watched every single ball of it, except for anyway. And I thought that the reason you won is you managed to counter everything he was doing so well. I mean,
Yeah.
could you talk us through it?
Yeah, I mean, the first set, it was just demolition day, basically. It was just kind of tearing through me, hitting main ball dead-ons, straight dead-ons, fast cut volleys, and I was kind of just leaving them for the back wall. Then I started to just take the ball earlier, serve the ball tighter, to get him to take it off the back wall and force it straighter. And then just kind of get in the rally situation. I thought when I was in a rally I'd be okay to deal with it. But it's just that first ball off return that's, you know, so deadly.
I couldn't agree more. The thing that seemed to happen in the first set, he was forcing, and you're kind of almost not expecting the force. Your
Yeah.
rack would be up late, you let a few go in.
Yeah.
Second set, third set, the last 3 sets, you just started volleying the ball out of the dead on.
Yeah.
But I thought the other impressive thing you did is you found a serve that he didn't like. For about 9 or 10 games in a row, you started serving that high serve.
Yeah.
And he was kept on trying to main wall force it, and eventually he gave up on that in the last set, and he started
going for the floor.
He started going for the floor, and you stopped serving it. I thought tactically what you did was absolutely brilliant. It's very impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Well done, Bryn. Good luck tomorrow against Rob.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you back here. What time is it tomorrow?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock for the European Open final. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, Ben.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.